Hey guys, it's Nina, otherwise known as Blair Bryan, and I wanted to hop on to answer some questions. Now that my books are getting more popular, I am getting more inquiries in my inbox. People want to know, just some random details, and so I'm gonna start answering the questions I get in a little video series. So look for those to continue. The first one I want to answer is from Amy, and Amy asked me why I decided to choose the genre that I chose because I have hopped around a bit. I started with my travel memoir, Scotland with a Stranger, and I'm going to be releasing a new one soon. I'm really excited about it. I'm kind of in the writing process of it now, called Tree Houses with a Teenager, and it's all about this trip to Tennessee that I took this summer. So I'm really excited about that, and I can't wait to release that. It's very much in the same vein as Scotland with a Stranger. It kind of takes you on a trip with me, and it's filled with introspection and just thinking about life. Maybe I spend a lot of time in my head quite a bit. I just recently discovered I'm a highly sensitive person. I don't know why it took me so long to figure it out. When I told my boyfriend that, he's like, well, duh, like everyone knows that. But I didn't. So that has been interesting. And it really helps me write the characters that I write in my Blair Bryan books, which are fiction. So the reason I settled on fiction, women's fiction specifically, for Blair Bryan is that those are the type of books I love to read. I love Elizabeth Gilbert and Jodi Picoult, I think is how you pronounce her name. I love all of those stories that have really well-developed characters that are believable, that really start the wheels turning in your head when you read a book. So that is kind of the genre that really speaks to me. And as a writer, when you write a book, you are literally going to read it hundreds of times before you publish it, over and over and over. And if you don't enjoy the genre you're writing in, or you phone it in, readers will be able to tell. You have to love what you write because you're going to have to read it over and over, and it has to really come from your heart, or your characters aren't really going to resonate. So in my mind, I have been through, if you read my memoir, I've been through some really traumatic events in my life. And I think that lends maybe a little bit more empathy in the characters that I create. I've always been a real empathetic person and very curious about people, just naturally curious about families and how they live and relationships and all of those things. And I feel like that comes out in my writing, my Blair Bryan characters. And so for me, there was the option to go, I could go, and write stories that were sweet or for like the Christian audience. And that didn't really speak to me because as I read books like that, they just didn't seem believable in today's life. It was so far away from the life that I've led. And I just groan sometimes when I read books that are too sweet. But then on the other side of the spectrum, I also don't want to leave readers after they have read one of my books. I don't want to leave them gutted. I don't want someone to shut one of my books and be completely just devastated, have that book hangover that is not a good one, that sticks with you and just maybe sinks you into a pit of depression. I never want my books to do that to people. And so even though I will take you on the craziest roller coaster ride of your life, at the end of it, there's always going to be a very happy and very satisfying ending. And it's taken me a while to understand why I do this. And why I write books like that is because until just recently, life has not given me very many happy endings. It's been a challenge and a struggle. And so I wrote the happy endings that I wanted to try and give other people hope, that see themselves a little bit in my characters that I write on my Blair Bryan books. So that was a really great question, Amy. If you want to ask me a question, you want to just send me an email, books@tealbutterflypress.com, or you can message me on any of the socials. We'd love to have you join the reader group. It's called the Ninians on Facebook. I didn't name my group. I allowed my group to name themselves because my daughter Jay said, you don't name your fandom names itself. So I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Lisa that came up with the Ninians, and then we voted on it, and that's where we're at, guys. So become a Ninian. It's fun in there. We talk about weird things, and I give away books. So I hope that this was fun to watch and informative, and I will see you on the next one.